And with that, I want to introduce Mike Sodini. Mike is a friend of mine for well over a decade. He's been in the gun industry for approaching 30 years one way or another. His family business is one of the largest and most successful importers of firearms from other countries, and it's based in New Jersey. Mike spends a lot of time outside of gun circles. We both do, really, but he spends more time than almost anybody I know who is an incredibly successful business leader in the firearms industry outside of gun circles. And I'm going to let him tell you the story of how we get to be here as him, the founding member, and me, one of the board members of Walk the Talk America, because the story, I think, is important, and the sincerity that you're going to hear from Mike is really important.
Yes, I am basically the most gun guy in the firearms industry. I think that's a fact that I definitely support 100%. Walk the Talk America started on June 15th from a conversation with a complete stranger when I was in New Orleans on business. I was with my national sales manager. I had gone to use the restroom. We were at a very crowded restaurant. I'd come back and my national sales manager was talking to this lady. She had a book that they had both read, and we ended up inviting her to have dinner with us at our table. Ooh, sorry. And one of the tragedies that just happened, so she was curious. She hadn't been around guns, so she was like, listen, explain to me how the whole gun thing works. And I was pretty honest with her. I said, they blame us, the gun people. And I said, we blame mental health. So we always say, and at that time, I wasn't familiar with the language. I didn't think so. I would say, it's just a crazy person with a gun. It's a lunatic with a gun. I was guilty of that. I didn't realize that I was helping with further the stigma. So I said, then nothing happens. So we go through, talks about legislation, nothing happens. And she literally looks at me and she goes, well, if you've identified the problem, how do you work with mental health to solve it? Seems like you two would work together like all the time. We were like 12 vodka sodas in. I look at my national sales manager and I'm like, we don't. I don't think we do. I wasn't sure. So I left that dinner that night, went back to Vegas where I live, and became obsessed with researching. And I came across position paper 782, which was from the MHA, or from MHA, sorry, still, yeah.
And primary author.
Oh, okay, yes, it blew me away. It's something that, for me, I love it. I love the fact that it didn't take the stance on guns. It says, look, we're staying neutral. And it just spoke to me. And then as I was reading it, I realized, oh my God, my so-called side, my industry has definitely contributed to the stigma. And it made a lot of sense because in my industry, there are a lot of vets. And we lose vets at a highly alarming rate. So we know this, right? And I said, wow, all these people that we're losing, we've contributed to them not coming forward to get help because they do not want to lose their gun rights, or they're afraid. The boogeyman, the imaginary gun grabbers that they talk about. And then it really kind of clicked to me. I said, look, I know that as someone who's in the industry and the people that I know in the industry, I know we do care about the same things as every other industry. We don't want to see people hurt. We don't like it when children die. We don't like it when people take their own lives. So I thought, what if I started an organization where I could lean on my industry, change their view of things, but also give them some of the programs, bless you, get them to fund some of the programs that in the paper, I think it was, the quote was like 4.6 billion from like 2009 to 2014. That blew me away. I said, we can help with that. I called a bunch of people in the industry. I called Rob. I was so excited. I wrote this what I call the Jerry Maguire Hail Mary email. Banged it out. I called Rob. I read it to him. He helped me with some revisions. He said, okay. I said, should I send it? He says, don't send it. Just wait a little while until we're a little bit more established. I hung up the phone. I said, F it. I hit send. It's funny when you send something out there like that, you're kind of in your head, you're like, I wonder if they're even going to respond or they're going to think about off or whatever. But sure enough, the day that I got the letter from the United States government saying that we were an official 501c3 is the same day MHA responded to my email asking me to come out to the conference in Los Angeles where I met Debbie and a couple other folks here. So that's what Walk the Talk is. Right? We are an organization that basically, people are going to call us a firearms organization, and it started in the firearms industry, but we're not. I consider us a mental health nonprofit. That's really how I see it, because I feel like we can help fund the things that make Earth better. That's your quote, right? It's a hashtag.
Yeah, make Earth better is, a lot of different